knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
Well,
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie. White in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro. I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. I do appreciate it. Jam-packed show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour today. It is Wednesday. Very interested lady going to be with us talking about her relationship with her father. You don't want to miss out on that in the third hour today. But for now, I have with me Professor Walter Williams, the John M. Olin Distinguished Professor of Economics at George Mason University. He is the author of Up From the Project, an autobiography, and Race and Economics, How Much Can Be Blamed on Discrimination. Professor Williams wrote a very, very, very interesting article, and I want to talk to him about that this morning. Dishonest educators. Very, 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 very interesting. In his article, Professor William brings up the Atlanta cheating scandal that broke almost 2 years ago, which revealed that hundreds of Atlanta public school teachers and principals had changed answers on state tests for 10 long years. This is amazing to me. Professor William, welcome to the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Very, very interesting article. What I want to do is just play a quick soundbite for my audience so that to remind them about this scandal that broke a couple years ago down in Atlanta, Georgia. Then we'll get into the conversation.
Okay.
A scathing 800-page report revealed that in the vast majority of Atlanta public schools, teachers and principals cheated on standardized testing, in many cases erasing and correcting wrong answers to pad test results. Among the findings, evidence of cheating in 44 of 56 schools targeted by investigators. The cheating was widespread and organized, fueled by a culture of fear, intimidation, and retaliation. In all, investigators say 178 teachers and principals in the school system cheated.
178 of them should be lined up right now, marching in shame out of Atlanta public schools.
Shauna Hayes Tavares is the parent of 3 Atlanta public school students. She believes one of her children was a victim of the cheating conspiracy. She's been pushing the district to take action for more than 2 years.
I believe that this is the worst travesty that could ever happen, where teachers, administrators, and even superintendents of schools, and including board members, have all been a part of a cover-up.
Professor, that's amazing to me. In your article, you write that one teacher told a colleague, I had to give your kids, your students, the answer because they were dumb as hell.
Yeah, right. And the cheating itself that went on in Atlanta and other places as well, not just Atlanta. That is bad enough. But I think even worse than that, and black parents do not know this at all, and that is that according to the National Assessment of Education Progress, this is something done by the National Center for Educational Statistics in Washington. They report that the average black kid who manages to graduate from high school anyway in the first place, the average black kid has the academic proficiency when he graduates from high school of the average white kid who is in the 7th or 8th grade. That is, what that means is that they're giving black kids diplomas, actually fraudulent diplomas, that attest that they can read and write and compute at the 12th grade level, when in fact they cannot do it at the 7th and 8th grade level. And it introduces all kinds of problems in terms of employment after school, because employers know this, and then colleges, they can't admit black kids on the same standards that they admit white kids, or else many colleges just would not have any black kids because they're unprepared. And you just ask yourself, if you have kids in college, let's say if you have 8th graders in college and 12th graders in college, well, you can't expect the 8th graders to do very well. I don't care what race they are. That is, if they're white or they're black, you're going to expect that if they just have an 8th grade education, they're going to have problems.
Why is it that the parents were not aware of how their kids were being taught, or the lack of being taught in the right way? Why were they not aware of that?
Well, I do not know. I do not know. But there's a huge cover up. For the average parent, they're working. Let's say some parent they're working. They're doing their work. They make sure the kids come home, and they make sure the kids go to school. And the teachers may give the kids A's and B's in their study. And the parents think, oh, well, my kid is doing well.
Yeah.
But when that A or B only means that he did not throw the chair at the teacher.
That's right. I remember when the story first broke, there were some parents who knew about it, but they were okay with it.
Yep, yeah, that's really bad. Ignorance is one thing, but when parents willfully know about what's being done to their kids, and don't do anything about it, I just think that's bad news. But Jesse, you referred to the column Dishonest Educators.
Yes.
The cheating goes beyond that. That is recently. Within the last several months, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported on a new cheating scandal, and that is teachers were hiring ringers to go take the test for them. That is, in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, teachers paid this guy, Clarence Mumford, who's under indictment now, they paid him anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000 to send someone else to take their exam for them, to become certified as teachers, because they thought that they could not pass the exam.
That was the praxis exam, right?
Yeah, it's the praxis exam. That's the exam that's used in many states for the certification of teachers. And the thing about the praxis exam is that the questions on the praxis exam, and your listeners can just look it up on Google. Just Google praxis 1 exam. Is PRAXIS 1 exam. The questions on that exam that teachers take, you would expect your 9th grader to be able to answer the questions, but many teachers many people who want to get a teacher certificate take the exam, and they can't pass those questions.
Wow. When I read this last night preparing for the show, it saddened me about this, because it appears that this country doesn't require much of Black Americans. They don't require us to work as hard and earn our way in every area of life as other races have to do.
But look, Jesse. Look, now, yeah, I think you have to kind of step back a little bit. That is, if any, let's say particularly a white person, demands that black people live up to the same standards of white people, he'll be condemned as a racist.
Yeah.
He might get in trouble. He might lose his job. And so you say, well, why should a person stick his neck out for nothing?
Amazing. In your article here, you cite a study, and we just talked about it briefly, from March 2011 on how whites and blacks have done on the Practice 1 test. The percentage of blacks who passed the test, reading, writing, and mathematics tests on their first try were 41, 44, and 37, respectively. For white test takers, the respective percentage were 82, 80, and 78. That's an amazing difference to me.
Yes, it is.
Let me take a quick break, Professor, and I'll let you respond to that when I come back.
Okay.
888-775-3773. Amazing stuff, folks.
Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round, upside down, boy, you turn me.
All right, folks, welcome back. Professor Walter Williams is with me. A very interesting article on the school cheating scandal that broke out in Atlanta, Georgia. Started there in Atlanta, where teachers and principal has changed answers on state tests for 10 years. And this is an amazing thing to me, and it's mind-blowing. Something has to be done. Professor Williams, you were going to talk about the difference between what happened when the black teachers took the test as opposed to the white teachers.
Well, yes, it just kind of shows that the very fact that students who want to try to get a teaching certificate, these are college graduates, it just reflects that heck, the rotten education that a person gets from at many black schools from K through 12 cannot be repaired in 4 years of college. If it could be repaired in 4 or 5 years of college, well, black students would pass the teaching tests just like white students.
Yeah.
But you just cannot repair the rotten education that black kids receive. And this continues because among black people, there's a misguided sense of loyalty to black politicians.
Yeah.
Now, I have huge in-laws, and they're voting for Obama, and I ask them, I say, would you tell me what has Obama done that you would in the last 4 years that you would like to see 4 more years of? They can't answer that question.
Yeah.
Or if you go even beyond the issue of Obama and just look at if you ask the question, where do black people live under the most horrible conditions of rotten schools, poor safety, and assaults and homicides? It's in the very cities where such as Philadelphia, Detroit, Washington, Memphis, Atlanta, Baltimore, New Orleans, and Cleveland, where blacks have been mayors of these cities,
yeah.
Blacks are superintendent of schools of these cities, and blacks are chief executive. No, I'm sorry, they're chief of police of these cities. But these are the cities under which they're the most horrible conditions. And so, I'm not saying there's a causal relationship between a black mayor and the rotten conditions, but I'm saying that they keep on getting reelected, and they're doing a very poor job for black people.
I think, I've talked about that a lot on this show. I think, Professor, they're just stuck on the color, the fact that he is black and he's a liberal Democrat. They don't look at the lack of value or character in a person like that, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Jesse, he's just as much white as he's black.
I know, yeah, and they omit that though.
You're right. But the point is that I think black people have to recognize that we cannot seek our salvation in the political arena.
Right.
That is, we must go to get involved in the economic arena and become educated. And evidence that in the political arena does not lead to success is the very fact that Japanese Americans and Chinese Americans are probably at the top of the socioeconomic heap. But Japanese Americans and Chinese Americans, they have no political power, even in areas of the United States where they're the most numerous, such as San Francisco. But they don't need to have political power. They don't need to be moaning and groaning about who's going to be the president of the United States,
right,
because their welfare, their well-being is not tied to the government.
I totally agree. You know, I remember, Professor, before I overcame my anger, I thought in the area of black too. I had a lot of anger, but first against my mother and my father for not, being together and guiding me. And I had this anger when I moved to California. I listened to the black politicians. I listened to Louis Farrakhan and others, and they built on that anger that was there, telling me that it wasn't me. I wasn't the problem, but it was white racism, the white man. So I became angry at them. And it wasn't until I was able to overcome my anger that I was able to see clear and realize that the people I was trusting were lying to me and using me for their own personal gain. So I think the answer to this problem is that most black people have to overcome their anger so they can start thinking for themselves.
Yeah, right. And absolutely, you're absolutely right. And I think that for the most part, if you fail today, you're to blame for your failure.
That's right.
I mean, it's nobody else is to be blamed. You can't blame the white people for your failure.
Yeah.
You have to somehow look within, and so it's kind of uncomfortable for people looking within. They have to admit to the fact. Well, I'm dumb as hell, so I better get to try to educate myself.
I'm telling you. What I need to do is pause just for a second so you could give out your information. I want folks to read your articles and get your books and things like that before we run out of time here.
Okay.
So go ahead. What's your website, or how can they read your information?
They can, it's WalterEWilliams.com. WalterEWilliams.com. It contains all of my publications and some videos. And matter of fact, there's a video about my autobiography that's on my webpage. It's called Up From the Projects. And again, it's WalterEWilliams.com. And there's a lot of very, very useful stuff there.
As a result of your article, CNN broke this cheating story last July, but the media really hasn't done much with it, as they did with Lance Armstrong. Why is Lance Armstrong's cheating more important than these teachers and principals?
It's easy to talk about Lance Armstrong by the media and criticize him because he's white. But if they they'll lose their standing if they point out all this cheating and despicable cheating done by black people. And then also it's a sensitive issue that white people cannot handle. And matter of fact, for white people, what I have on my website is called a gift. And you can just click it. It's on the upper right-hand side, and it's a certificate of amnesty and pardon that I have granted to all Americans of European ancestry, and for both their own grievances and those of their forebears against my people. And the reason why I've granted this certificate of amnesty and pardon to white people is so they stop feeling guilty and stop acting like damn fools.
I love it.
Because a lot of things that white people do, they wouldn't begin to tolerate it from other white people, but they tolerate it from black people, and the reason why is that they feel guilty.
Yes, sir. And also they seem to be afraid of being called racist. That one word seemed to control them more than anything else.
That's right. That's right. So they what a lot of white people need to get they need to get some backbone.
Yes, sir. Professor Williams, as you know, I appreciate you. Thank you for your work, and thank you for spending time with us this morning.
And thank you for inviting me. And good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, folks, 888-775-3773. We're going to take a break and come back for your calls right after this break.